Hello, and welcome to another episode of CGN Live. My name is Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. I am here to talk to you about all the great comic books and graphic novels that will be coming out next week. Let me get a few things set up here. Make sure that we are good to go. I think we're all ready to go. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about, like I said, the books that are coming out next week. Over at Cheap Graphic Novels, we like to have those on the website and ready for you to order as of Monday evening. So Monday evening next week, you'll be able to order these books that we're talking about today. And then also, there's a huge sale going on right now, a huge omnibus sale, Marvel omnibus sale over at CGN that Max just put up today. So that's a brand new sale going on. I posted about it on social media, but I want to go through what books are on sale there because there's like 100 of them. 100 Marvel omnibuses on sale, up to 60% off over at CGN right now. But first, I want to go over the books that will be coming out next week and talk about those. And then I have a few books to show off that are that have to do with those books. There's one more I needed to find. I don't know if I got it or not. I don't have it. I'll find it though. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you're in the chat, go ahead and say what's up and tell us what comics you've been reading this week, and let us know what you're most excited about. If you've already taken advantage of the big omnibus sale, let me know what you picked up. I love to talk about anything to do with comics, so I am here to do that. So let me share my screen now. I think I'm getting this down pat. Let me see. See if it worked on my second screen. There we go. All right. So up first, again, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, throw them in the chat, and I will talk to you guys about that. I'll take breaks here and there while I'm going through these, and at the end, I'll definitely do a big Q&A. But let me know if you have any questions or anything. I can do my best to answer those, and if not, then Max over at CGN is only a text message away, so I can always text him any sort of impending questions. I won't be able to answer any questions like specific to your order or anything like that. I'm actually in the Midwest, so I'm not anywhere near the CGN headquarters, so I won't be able to tell you when your order is going to be ready or shipped or anything like that. But anything else I can ask or answer. And so we're looking at the website here. This is next week's orders, next week's books, and you can see that they say out of stock on them, but that's just because you can't order them right now. Once they go live on Monday night, and again, follow us on social media at CheapGN on Instagram or Twitter. They're both at CheapGN, and I'll be able to let you know. I'm going to actually adjust a few things here. Let you know when they go live. Try to get my microphone a little bit closer so you can hear me good. All right. So up first, we have the Fables 20th Anniversary Companion box set. So this is a box set that includes all 4 of the companion volumes in one really nicely designed box. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And this will contain all 150 issues of Fables, including, it looks like a handful of other issues. So like a few issues from the Jack of Fables spinoff and the literals 1 through 3 and a couple other things. So basically the entirety of the Fables saga in one box set, except for, I guess they did a new, was it a 12-issue series last year? That won't be in here. But the original 150 issues that everyone highly touts and whatnot will be in there. This is from Bill Willingham and Mark Buckingham. It's their Vertigo series. But yeah, those companions are each like 1,000 pages each. in this nice thick paperbacks. And this box set will collect all 4 of them, so you're looking at like 4,000 pages of fun comics there. So that's the first thing. And sorry, I should have said, you saved $96 off that one. So that is normally priced at, was it $250? $240 is retail price, but at CGN you can get it for $143.99. It's 40% off. Up next, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis Omnibus Volume 1. And there's 3 covers for this one, but they're all priced at $74.99 after the 40% off. So the first cover here, I don't remember, this is a reprint, by the way. So this was previously in print, and they're bringing it back. I'm not sure which covers were there previously. I know this was one of them for sure. This is the standard edition cover by Yu. I want to say that's Lionel Francis Yu. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And then make sure they off the other color covers. You've got this one is one of the DM direct market covers. It's by Steve McNiven, and it's got Rocket Raccoon on it, doing the homage to Wolverine, the famous Wolverine cover. But this is done by cover. I keep saying color. Cover. This one's done by Steve McNiven. That one's really cool. And then the second direct market variant is by Alex Ross, and that is this one right here. So Brian Michael Bendis' Guardians of the Galaxy run was the most recent run after the MCU appearance of the Guardians. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Guardians of the Galaxy by James Gunn with Chris Pratt and Batista and all those guys. That was modeled after the Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning run of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then that movie came out, and then this was the one that followed it up on it. So it's kind of, not exactly, but it's more mirrored closer to what you see on the screen with the MCU for the Guardians characters than any previous run to date. So if you really like the MCU run, you might like this. And this is a volume 1. There has not been a volume 2 that has been released, but there is enough material for a volume 2. But no announcements of that yet. I think Marvel's waiting to see how the sales are for this one. And of course, there's the big Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie coming out soon. So perfect timing for that. Oh, I see some chat comments coming in. Yes, please. If you're in the chat, just joining us, let me know what comics you've been reading, and let me know if you've taken advantage of the omnibus sale that we have going on. The massive Marvel omnibus sale where we have 100 omnibuses for sale up to 60% off. And I'll go through those here in a little bit, but let me know if you picked up anything. And then we can go over those when I hit up the chat here. The next omnibus we have on sale next week will be the Iron Fist, the Immortal Iron Fist, and the Immortal Weapons omnibus. We got 2 cover options. The direct market cover is by Patrick Zurcher, right here. And then the standard edition cover is the one that this omnibus was previously released with. However, this is an expanded version of that previously released omnibus. The original omnibus only came out with like the Ed Brubaker issues, and it did not have the Immortal Weapons portion of the story and some other stuff. I think someone let me know in the comments if you know for sure, but I think it's almost like doubled in size with everything they added in here. But you have Ed Brubaker, you have artist David Aja, and that's who David Aja did this cover here, the standard edition. If you don't know, the DM cover, that means direct market variant, and that's exclusive to the direct market. The direct market just means comic book shops. So your local comic book shop or Cheap Graphic Novels is a comic book shop. Is the only place you're going to be able to get these DM variants. The standard edition covers you can get anywhere that sells omnibuses, the book market or the direct market. But of course, over at Cheap Graphic Novels, you can get these for only $74.99, which is $50.01 off the cover price. Starting next week. Up next, we have a couple newspaper strips. The first one is Johnny Hazard Dailies, Volume 9. This is from Hermes Press. Hermes Press, too, I have one book from them. It's the Jack Kirby, what is it called? Sky Masters of the Space Force book, and it's really, really well made. So if you're into, if they do a lot of these old newspaper strips or older comics, is what they collect. Johnny Hazard's not one I'm super familiar with. Frank Robbins did it. Okay, so Frank Robbins, I am familiar with his work. He did a lot of the issues of the Invaders. That omnibus just came out last year. The Frank Robbins, Roy Thomas Invaders run. And then Frank Robbins had a cup of coffee in both DC and Marvel. But this must be his newspaper strip that he did. That one's $40. It's $10 off the cover price. Next one is the George Harriman Library, Crazy and Ignatz, 1925 through 1927, hardcover. So I have the first 3 volumes of this. I'm going to show them off here in a second, but let's go over the contents here. These are, if you're not familiar with the original Sunday strip was just called, newspaper strip, was just called Crazy Cat. But it stars 2 characters, Crazy and Ignatz. And it's by George Harriman, who was a African-American cartoonist in the early 20th century. So this is pre-Golden Age even. This is early 1920s to, like I said, the years on this book in particular, 1925 to 27. But this is even back when Little Nemo and Summerland was by Winsor McCay was being done. This was also one of the highly touted comic book strips from back in that era, as well as Walton Skeezix was one of them. And then I'm trying to think of other ones that were that era, before Peanuts even. I know there's a few more. Oh, Hal Foster. What was his called? Geez, I'm drawing a blank here. But anyways, this one is, and these are beautiful volumes. These are by Fantagraphics Books. I'm going to show off the first 3 volumes to you here in a second. But this is retail price $49.99. You can get it for $37.49 at Cheap Graphic Novels. And then let me stop sharing for a minute so I can show these off. Okay. These are way oversized too compared to your standard edition books. Let's see if I have them in order here. All right. So these are the spines. They all say Crazy and Ignatz. And then Fantagraphics Books. And you can see the most recent volume has the new Fantagraphics Books logo. They're adopting that for any new books, even if they're part of a series. So this next one will have that same logo as well. But let's show you the size of them. So we're trying to do this carefully without knocking stuff over. All right, so this is a Marvel Epic Collection by comparison, which is the same size as a standard comic book. So they're both measured out right here. And you can see it's much taller than and much wider than. So they're very much oversized, which is great because back then the Sunday strips were big broadsheets that you fold it out on the floor, and kids would to sit there and just read them all day. And the artwork is just crazy and incredible. But we'll show some of the artwork here, if you can see that. So it's very much very sketchy and cartoony, but it was really amazing how George Harriman really worked with panel layouts and compositions way in the infancy of when the comic book medium and sequential art was, it was just barely born. And Winsor McCay, like I cited earlier, sandwichism. I know you're a big fan of Winsor McCay. He blew things out of the water as far as his innovation with panel layouts and what you could do with the comic book medium. And just crazy to me that these guys were doing this when comic books were a brand new medium. like before even Superman existed, before any of that. So that's crazy in Ignatz. Let me see. Let me get the chat before I start sharing again. Sandwichism says, Bone by Jeff Smith. Heard it gives. Yes. My son I've talked to Sandwichism about this. My son has been given nightmares from one of the characters in Bone. So that's the reference there. But Bone's a great series. We've got Scarface. Just saw the sale, picked up Excalibur 1 and 2. Excited to start reading those. That's perfect timing because, and I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard or not, Scarface. If not, then great news. Volume 3 was just announced by Omar last week. Omar of Near My Condition. Last week or the week before. But either way, we're getting a Volume 3 omnibus for Excalibur that will look nice on the shelf next to those other two you picked up. Sandwichism says, Hal Foster did Tarzan, I believe. If he did Tarzan, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Prince Valiant is what I was thinking of. Prince Valiant was a big comic book strip he did back then. Ever heard of Steve Ditko, creator of Blue Beetle, Ted Cord? Yes, Lohit, I have heard of that man. And then Coley's coming in with Steve Ditko, creator of Spider-Man. Yes. Some Steve Ditko love in the chat for sure. All right, then I'll go back to sharing my screen. But yes, keep those comments coming. Let me know what you guys have been reading and then what you're picking up or what you're eyeing maybe. And the omnibus sale, if you have any questions of any details of those omnibuses, I can maybe help you with that and let you know what the contents are, maybe how it pairs up with another omnibus or whatnot. I'll do my best to help you with that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's Crazy in Ignatz, 1925 to 1927. That's technically the 4th volume of the George Harriman Library. Then we have this one, which is crazy to me. This has been solicited and canceled so many times. Apparently, it's officially coming out. I have all 6 volumes of the original series, which I guess I can get these out and show them off to you. So these are oversized. I think they're like, if you're familiar with the Dark Horse Library editions, or are they even Absolute size? I think they're about the same size as a DC Absolute. But these are the original Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles run, Ultimate Collections. Volumes 1 through 6 are out of print at the moment, but they have been doing the compendiums. The new one they're doing, which are same trim size but thicker and hold more issues, if you will. Regardless, though, this one collects all the covers and then a bunch of archival collections. So I don't know if there's any actual comics in here. Maybe some like hard to find comics or previously unreleased comics. But anyways, this is a $49.99. You say $15. It's $34.99 at CGN. I will stop sharing my screen. Okay. So these are the spines of the first 6 volumes that set goes with. You can see volume 1 has like red font for some reason. I don't know why they changed their minds, I guess. But that 7th volume looks to be like a behind the scenes type deal. So if you're into like a lot of the process work by Eastman and Laird, then you might want to get into that. But to show off some of the artwork of the original TMNT comics, if you're not familiar, it's all black and white with awesome use of Zipatone and whatnot. They have released these in color as well, but I've seen some comparisons, and since they used Zipatone and they went back and tried to color it, like a lot of the artwork was lost on it. There's Casey Jones, one of the coolest comic book characters ever. So those are awesome comics if you can find those volumes, and this will be number 7 that goes with it. Or if you just want to have like some behind the scenes stuff of Eastman and Laird making turtles, maybe it'd be a cool thing to go over or to get. Did you already go over the Omnis? Not the ones that are on sale, not the Marvel Omnibus sale. I will be going over those here in a little bit. Let me share my screen again. All right, let's see here. A little bit if you're talking about the actual omnibuses that are on sale next week. I did go over those. Real quickly, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy by Bendis in Iron Fist, the Immortal Iron Fist and Immortal Weapons omnibus are both on sale next week. All right, up next we have Doom Patrol by Gerard Way and Nick Darrington, the deluxe edition. So it's a deluxe edition, so it will be oversized. And this is from Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance fame. If you're a fan of them, which I am. And then also Gerard Way in comics, he wrote the Umbrella Academy and then I'm trying to refresh my memory. The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. He did both those comic book series. This one is when he does Doom Patrol. So Gerard Way is a big fan of Grant Morrison, and specifically Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol run. So this was something that he's really excited to get into. I think that's kind of, if you've read his Umbrella Academy, you'll know that that's where he gets a lot of his ideas from. For the Umbrella Academy. So this was him after the fact, going back to the Doom Patrol. It says it includes all 12 issues of the 2016 Young Animal Revival, plus Doom Patrol Weight of the Worlds 1 through 7. So it includes 19 issues of Doom Patrol comics. And the Young Animal was the imprint that Gerard Way had with DC Comics. I don't know if it's still around or not. This is the most recent Doom Patrol run being collected in hardcover. And oddly enough, they didn't call it an omnibus. I guess it's only, 19 issues. So maybe it's not quite there to be thick enough for one. But they have released 5 Doom Patrol omnibuses. So this would be like the 6th oversized hardcover that goes along with that. And then, let's see here. Next, we have Dracula of Transylvania softcover. This is $29.99. You save $10 off of that. Storyboarding for Wim Wenders. This project, opening scenes. I was looking at this. What is this? It's by Humanoids. That's a new Humanoids release, which Humanoids is they specialize in a lot of European comics. Trying to see what this is. I don't know. It keeps saying storyboards and film. It makes me think it's behind the scenes of a movie, but maybe they turn it into a comic. I have no idea. Up next, we have X-Men the Animated Series, The Further Adventures trade paperback. This is by Ralph Macchio, is the main writer. Not the Karate Kid, though. That's Ralph Macchio, the former Marvel editor. And okay. This will be $39.99 retail price, but at CGN you can get it for 40% off for only $23.99. And I think they're collecting Adventures of X-Men. Okay, because I know there's a release coming out that it's a thicker trade and it includes the new series, which this doesn't look like it collects that. But there's a new series where they took the cartoon versions of X-Men, like the animated series, but then put them through like the Hoxpox storyline, which sounds like a really cool idea to me, and I want to read that. But this doesn't seem to be the case there. This looks like it collects the older Adventures of X-Men. Let me know in the comments if you know. This might double dip with the recent omnibus that came out for this. Because I know I was talking to Omar, and there's an omnibus that came out that includes like the animated series, and then there's a thicker trade coming out that collects everything else that hasn't been collected yet. So there's like those two things that will get you the whole story. This one I'm not sure about, though. Then we have Disney Afternoon Adventures, Volume 2. This one has Tailspin Flight of the Skyraker hardcover. This is the one I wanted to show off because I have the first volume. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. It was hiding. Ha! All right. So this will be the third book I'm going to show off tonight. Okay. So this is the first volume. It had Darkwing Duck on the cover. this collects, if you were a kid of the 90s and you watched Disney Afternoon Adventures, which is where the logo comes from, you're familiar with this lineup. It had like Darkwing Duck, it had Goof Troop was in here. It had, let me see, Gummy Bears. There's a Gummy Bear story in here. I know that. Tailspin. Bonkers. There's a Bonkers story in here. And DuckTales. So if you're a kid in the 90s, you remember in the grocery stores, they had those really small digest-sized Disney Adventures magazines, and a lot of them had comics on the inside of them. This collects a lot of those comics. This is what this line is doing for Fantagraphics. And this is volume 1. It has Darkwing Duck on the cover. It doesn't have a volume number on the spine, but a lot of the Disney comics don't. Because I think the idea is that they want you to be able to collect whatever one you want. So this one has Darkwing Duck as a title character because it has like a big crossover from all the stories that corresponds with Darkwing Duck. So like DuckTales and Bonkers and all those stuff, all those characters cross over. But it's a nice hardcover, great presentation, of course, as always. That's all the Fantagraphics knows how to do. Let me share my screen again. So this next one that comes out is volume 2, and it looks like it has Tailspin on the cover. And looks like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers are back in there. And has more feature-length blockbuster tales. Okay. Up next is the sorry, I don't think it's the price. That one is $22.49 at CGN next week. It's 25% off. Then we have the Many Deaths of Layla Starr Deluxe Edition. So I know this is a big popular one. I think I saw someone in the chat mention it. This is by Ram V with art by Felipe Andrade. And this is a 5-issue series. But this is the deluxe hardcover, so it'll be oversized. And just to let you know how well this was received, it was Ignatz Award winning, Eisner, Harvey, and Ringo nominated. So those are the 4 top comic book awards you can win. The Ignatz, which is named after the aforementioned Crazy and Ignatz Award. Eisner, Harvey, and Ringo. Those are the top 4 awards you can win in comics, and this was either won or nominated all 4 of them. 5 issues. I've heard it compared to Day Tripper, the Vertigo series, that has a similar feel to that, but it's a little bit different. So this is Boom Studios. I don't know if I mentioned that. Boom Studios deluxe hardcover. Boom Studios recently did hardcovers for like Once and Future, Something is Killing the Children, and then the Power Rangers, of course. So this is the next one that they're coming out with. And you can get it for $22.49, which is $77.50 off. And that'll be available next Monday. Next, we have the Norse Mythology Volume 3 hardcover. This is the 3rd volume of the Neil Gaiman P. Craig Russell series of Norse mythology. I haven't read these. Let me know in the comments if you have. Featuring art from P. Craig Russell, David Rubin, Colleen Duran. Man, Neil Gaiman only knows how to get the best artists to work with him. But I know Neil Gaiman's a huge fan of the actual Norse mythology, like the lore and everything that goes along with that. This is him telling it. I've heard it's very authentic to that Norse mythology. Again, if you've read this, let me know, and I might have to try that out if enough people tell me it's good stuff. Then we have the Devil's Road hardcover. This one had a cover that was very striking and caught my eye. From Zenescope Entertainment, writers Joe Bruscia and Ralph Tedesco. A bus carrying 24 resort guests on the highway of death through Mexico is taken hostage by a ruthless gang. But it's not a ransom that the kidnappers are interested in. All right, so it looks like a thrilling road adventure, possibly violent. Looks pretty cool. We're All Just Fine hardcover is $18.73 next week at CGN so that's 25% off. This is from Fantagraphics as well. Ana Piña's story, a heartfelt graphic biography. Tribute to the artist's grandmothers and the generation of women who quietly soldiered through over 40 years of fascist rule in Spain. Okay. So Ana Peñas there. It's about her grandmother and all of her grandmother's peers living through fascist Spain. We have the Lion and Eagle trade paperback. This is from Garth Ennis, Aftershock Comics. PJ Holden is the artist, and I'm almost certain it's like magazine sized, complete oversized prestige format miniseries. Yes, they're like almost like square shaped. If you're familiar with like the DC Black Label magazine size comic books, this is like a similar trim size. I don't know if it's exact, but it looks like it's Garth Ennis doing a war comic, perhaps. Definitely let me know if you've read this, because I'm hit or miss with Garth Ennis. I usually like when he's doing anything not superhero related. So this looks like it could be up my alley. Like Garth Ennis doing war comics is fantastic. I can read those all day. Then we have We Live Volume 1 hardcover for 1873. And this is from Aftershock Comics as well. The writer is Roy Miranda, and the artist is Inaki Miranda. Well, the year is 2084, and the world has changed. Racked calamities and it's crawling with monsters. So it looks to be a post-apocalyptic story. And this includes the entire first story arc, 5 issues. So it's just volume 1. There will be more after this, it looks like. Next one, it's probably my pick of the week. Sorry to take a drink there. So this is Do a Powerbomb. This is by Daniel Warren Johnson. He's the writer and artist. And I believe Mike Spicer. Yeah, Mike Spicer is the colorist. Typically, Mike Spicer colors most of DWJ's work. But Daniel Warren Johnson is an amazing cartoonist. Definitely one of my favorites going today. He did Murder Falcon. He did Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. And then he did Beta Ray Bill. We're like the heavy metal trilogy, if you will, of Daniel Warren Johnson. They all have like very much themes of heavy metal, and they're just like his kinetic, like energetic artwork. That's awesome. So Daniel Warren Johnson became a wrestling fan, a pro wrestling fan, kind of later in life, to my understanding. And he's like a huge fan of like, but he like went in deep. So he's like a huge fan of like Japanese pro wrestling and like AEW, like Ring of Honor, like a lot of independents that aren't just WWE. And I love pro wrestling. I grew up watching pro wrestling my whole life. I've been a little bit out of it for the last few years, but I did previously write for a website about wrestling even. So I have like a background in wrestling, in writing for wrestling, if you will. But I read the first couple issues for this, and it is really fantastic. It takes you to places with twists and turns that you wouldn't expect. It's not just for pro wrestling fans. If you're a fan of Daniel Warren Johnson's artwork, or even if that cover strikes your attention, I would recommend trying this out. It includes all 7 issues of that series, and it's 30% off. You can get it for $17.49 next week at CGN, and that's the trade paperback. We have Youth Volume 2 trade paperback for $16.09. I'm going to run through this last bit here a little bit quicker because I want to get to the omnibus sale. Never Ender Volume 1 trade paperback. And then the Archie 1,000-page Comics Wonder trade paperback. Again, I said I'm running through this, but if you want me to look a little bit closer at any of them, let me know in the chat, and I will pull them up and let you look at them. We have X-Men by Jerry Dugan, Volume 3. So with the Jonathan Hickman and the Hoxpox era of X-Men and all the way to present, Marvel has been releasing trade paperback versions of 2 different ways. Either collect trade paperbacks that are like all X-Men, all X-Force, all New Mutants, all Cable, that are all like separate by series. And they also have it started off being called Dawn of X. Then it's a Trials of X, something else of X. But those are like anthology style. So they collect every single issue in chronological order. So you'll get like issue 1 of X-Men, issue 1 of X-Force, issue 1 of New Mutants, and it just keeps going like that. So it's 2 different ways that it's collected. This one is the one that just collects just X-Men, and it's Volume 3 by Jerry Duggan. There's We have Superman Action Comics Volume 3 War World Revolution. War World Revolution. Sorry. Woo, that was a tongue twister for some reason. This collects Action Comics. Looks like 3 issues of Action Comics, an annual, and Superman Warlord Apocalypse. It looks to be current era Superman. We have Batman the Imposter trade paperback. This was previously released in hardcover. Next week, this is a trade paperback you can get for $11.99. And it's by Andreas Sorrentino as the artist. I want to say Josh Williamson? No. The writer is Mattson Tomlin. But Andre Sorrentino is the artist. Andre, he did Gideon Falls. He did the Green Arrow run with Jeff Lemire. He's worked with Jeff Lemire a bunch. The Bone Orchard Mythos, he's doing that with Jeff Lemire. But his art's really great. Like the things that he does with compositions and panel layouts is really like innovative for like a modern day cartoonist. He really stretches out what you can do with the comic book page. But this includes Batman the Imposter issues 1 through 3. It was a miniseries. This includes a whole miniseries, and it listed here as the perfect tonal companion to the 2022's mega hit film The Batman. And you can see like the costume on the cover there. It looks very much like the Robert Pattinson Batman. And this came out right around the time of the movie. So it's not like a sequel or it's not related to the movie, but tonal companion. I like the way they put that. It's probably pretty accurate. Aquaman and the Flash Void Song with the Justice League taking out of commission. So this is new stuff. A newer series that includes Aquaman and the Flash teaming together to face an alien invasion. That for $11.99, it's 40% off. If Defenders Beyond for only $9.59, it's 40% off. This is written by Al Ewing, art by Javier Rodriguez. It's a series I'm interested in. I love the Defenders as a team, like the classic Defenders. And Al Ewing's a great writer. And Javier Rodriguez, his artwork looks pretty cool. Eternals, A History Written in Blood trade paperback. This is 40% off. You get it for $9.59. This is the Kieran Gillen run of the Eternals. It collects Eternals, Thanos Rising, Eternals, Celestia, Eternals, The Heretic, and then material from What If 24 through 28. So it includes 3 issues. I don't know if they're oversized or not, of Eternals that takes place in the same time as the Kieran Gillen run. And then 5 issues of What If from back in the day, but not the entire issue. Back then, What If had like backup strips that told the further adventures of the Eternals, if you will, like post Jack Kirby. That's what that is. And then last, we have Shazam Thundercrack trade paperback. This looks like to be the For Kids line of DC. Billy Batson's never been a team player. Becoming a superhero didn't change him that much. Yeah, this looks to be for kids. And it looks really cool. It's the art and writing is by Yehudi Mercada. So that's it for the week as far as those go. Let me hit up the chat before I go over the omnibuses. Let's see what's going on. Iron Fist Brubaker is a good one. I do want to read that. I have never read that before. I did recently read Brubaker's Gotham Central, which was one of Brubaker's efforts in the Big Two, and I really like that. So Claremont and Byrne Iron Fist is my favorite. Coley, that's great to hear. I have that actually right here. And this just got announced for an omnibus. And it's not just this. It collects this entire Epic collection, which is like 400 pages. And then it collects all the strips from Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which I think you can see one volume back here, and then the other volume is down there. Those were like the black and white magazines when Marvel was playing into the Kung Fu craze of the 70s. Doom Patrol is a good one, a little too YA for my taste. Do you mean young adult or young animal? Was it young adult? Was a young animal line aimed at the young adult demographic? I don't know. Maybe that's an obvious thing I just never picked up on. Is there an Omni for that yet? In only Epic collections as far as I know. Of what? Oh, for Iron Fist? I think you're talking about Iron Fist. There is one being announced. There was one announced that includes the entire run of Iron Fist, his initial run, including the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. And then, ooh, Death of Layla Star, Ram V Gold. Get that one for sure. And then we have Sandwichism saying, I read the first Norse mythology hardcover and it was good. All right. And I know Sandwichism wasn't the biggest fan of Gaiman Sandman, so that's good to hear that Gaiman is not a lost cause in your eyes, that you enjoyed Norse mythology. All right, so I'm going to go over the omnibuses that are part of the sale. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. I'm just going to kind of coast through them to show them off to you, and then we'll get out of here. I'll try to keep this about an hour if I can. But all right, so if you front page, you saw me just click on the banner there for Marvel Omnibus Sale 2023. Then if you're not familiar, you can also click this box, and anything that's out of stock, it'll erase that from your list so you won't have to see it. It looks like, oh man, people really went hard on the sale. We're down to 45 books now. We started off with 100. So once I hid the out of stock items, yeah, there were 99, and then we're down to 45. So awesome. Let's go through these in case you're wanting to jump on these, because it looks like people are going nuts over this sale, which is awesome. All right, so everything is up to 60% off. It's either 50 or 60% off for all these books, and these are all Marvel omnibuses. The first one is Aliens, the original omnibus, the original year's omnibus. This is the Dark Horse era Alien stories, and these are awesome comics. If you love the Aliens movies and you love comics, you have to get these. But also, if you're just into horror comics, these are some of the best horror comics I've read. Like, I love these things. Those years, I have them in the Dark Horse hardcovers though, so I didn't get these omnibuses. We have Young Avengers by Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey omnibus. That one's $37.50. We have Black Widow Strikes omnibus. That's all for early adventures for Black Widow. I think, yeah, that's in my shot here. I guess if you could see my screen, you can't because it's really small. But that's a great one. It includes all of her like early Silver Age adventures with Iron Man, and then all the way through like when she's in Amazing Adventures, when she shared that with the Inhumans. You got work from Stan Lee, Roy Thomas, Jim Starlin, Don Heck, John Buscema, Gene Colan, George Perez, Paul Galassi. It includes like stuff all the way up to, I want to say 80s even. But that's a really good omnibus. So you get that for $50. Captain America by Ed Brubaker, Volume 3. Volumes 4 and 5 are coming out soon this year. They were announced for reprints. This one you can get for $37.50 if you're preparing to get those other 2 volumes. This one's a great one. This might be my recommendation of the sale. Captain America by Jack Kirby omnibus. This is Jack Kirby in the 70s, though. So Jack Kirby obviously co-created Captain America with Joe Simon back in the Golden Age. And then when the Silver Age hit and they unfroze Captain America and brought him back, Jack Kirby had a long, lengthy run with Captain America in the Silver Age. And then he left for DC, came back, and this is like his 3rd era of Captain America comics, which is just super cool that he had that. But in the 70s, Kirby was like bonkers. Like, his comics were so fun and just crazy. So this one I highly recommend. He did all the writing and drawing for that run. We have Conan the Barbarian, original Marvel Years, Volume 7 and Volume 8, it looks like. And Volume 9, the few covers, and Volume 10. There's another 8. Okay, so a bunch of Conan omnibuses here. What I want to say about this is that these are good gap fillers. So these are all, let me see, $62.50, $75 for the Volume 10, and Volume 8 was $75. But $62.50 to $75 for these. They're all 50% off. But these are a good gap filler. So if you're wanting to collect these and you missed out, and you know Titan Comics and has picked up the license of Heroic Signatures, and they're going to be releasing their own versions of these, but they're going to be match the trade dress and everything. So on your shelf, they're going to look nice. They're going to look exactly the same, except for it's going to say Titan instead of Marvel. But if you're looking forward and looking ahead and you want to fill in your gaps with these Conan ones and then get the other Titan ones to fill up the earlier years, I would recommend doing that. We have Daredevil by Brubaker and Lark Omnibus Volume 1. So the aforementioned Ed Brubaker, whose Iron Fist Omnibus comes out next week. And also I talked about Gotham Central. Well, Michael Lark was the artist on Gotham Central. This is when they both paired together to work on Daredevil. Volume 1, this cover is the direct-to-market variant by by Finch. And then we have the Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 1 by Steve Ditko. This one is only $37.50, and this includes the entirety of Steve Ditko's initial run with Doctor Strange. So obviously Steve Ditko created Doctor Strange. This includes the entirety of all the issues that he worked on. When you get to Volume 2, you get to like the Roy Thomas and Gene Colan, Bill Everett era. This Volume 1 includes all the Ditko. So if you're just wanting just Ditko era Doctor Strange, which you can't go wrong with, phenomenal comic books. You can get this for $37.50, 50% off. I noticed we had someone in the chat earlier say that they picked up the Excalibur Volume 1 and 2. Well, they're still here. We still have some more in stock on sale. Volume 1 and Volume 2. The DM covers for both. The DM cover for Volume 1 is by Alan Davis, and Joe Madureira did the Volume 2. Those, if you're interested in Excalibur, pick them up here for 50% off, $62.50. Volume 3 was just announced by Omar, coming out later this year. Hellstorm by Warren Ellis. This is crazy that this is still in stock. This was one of the older, the $75 cover pricing for $37.50. And how many issues does this collect? 13 issues, it looks like. 14 issues, maybe. So it's a slimmer omnibus for sure, but that one, I'm surprised it hasn't gone out of print yet. I don't know that it'll be high on people's reprint lists if you are reprint voting. Which, a quick plug, New York Edition every year, Omar does a omnibus reprint poll where the fans get to go in and vote for which omnibuses they want reprinted. You get like 5 votes. That just went live today. So if there's some omnibuses out there that are out of print that you want to see show up at Cheap Graphic Novels in the future, make sure you go to NearMitCon on Instagram or Twitter and hop into that poll and make sure your voice is heard in those votes. Marvel very much follows those lists almost to a T. I think we're getting like 85 to 90% of what pops up on that list. Next is Howard the Duck by Chip Zdarsky and Joe Quiones. This is only $30. This was a $60 cover price omnibus. You get it for 50% off right now. We have the Incredible Hulk omnibus with the Kirby cover, direct market, for only $50. This is a big deal because Volume 2 was just announced recently. So if you're wanting to get that Volume 2, here's Volume 1 for only $50. Jessica Jones Alias Omnibus for only $50. We have Kazar, the Savage Omnibus. It's only $62.50. And Thing, it's only $62.50. Marvel Masters of Suspense by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko for only $50. Oh, Volume 2 is only $49.99. Those are great omnibuses. So these are, let me see the dates on them. I think these are mostly pre-Silver Age. I'll pull down Volume 2 here. So I wonder if any of them came out during the Silver Age. They did, okay. So Volume 2 has stories all the way up through 1963 by Steve Ditko. 62, 63. And then Volume 1 has pre-Silver Age, so 1956 all the way to 1961. Okay. Those are great books, though. those are all Steve Ditko artwork, Stanley stories, and they're like, if you're a fan of like the old EC comics, these are like, 4 to 8 page strips, suspenseful horror stories, and Steve Ditko's just a master of that kind of storytelling, like the sequential storytelling through the panels and stuff. But yeah, so the earliest stories take place in the Golden Age, but then they bleed into the Silver Age for both of those. We have Moon Knight by Huston, Houston, Vincent, and Hurwitz for $62.50. The Phoenix Omnibus Volume 1 with the Russell Dodman cover. That's only $50. And was it Volume 2 just got announced, or Volume 3 even? Let me know in the comments. I know a further volume got announced recently. Hard to keep up sometimes. We have Silver Surfer Omnibus Volume 1 with the Assad Ribic cover. This includes the entirety of the John Buscema, Stan Lee era of Silver Surfer, which is issues 1 through 18, and then it includes the Fantastic Four number 5 annual, and not Brand Eck number 13. But yeah, it's mostly John Buscema artwork. There's one issue of Jack Kirby in there. Great stories though. We have Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski, Volume 1. DM cover there for $62.50. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3 for $62.50. Spider-Man by Roger Stern Omnibus is on here. Both covers, the DM cover and the standard, those are both $62.50 each. If you got the Spectacular Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1, I want to say? Let me see. Yeah, Volume 1. That butts up right up against this one. So if you get the Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1, the last issue of that one bleeds right into Spider-Man by Roger Stern Omnibus. So this is a perfect companion to that. We have Star Wars by Jason Aaron Omnibus with the Stuart Eminem cover for $62.50. Star Wars Legends Rise of the Sith. Star Wars Legends of the Empire, Volume 1. Thor by Matt Fraction Omnibus with the Olivier Coipel for $62.50. The Mighty Thor Silver Age era, Volume 1 for $50. Volume 4 is coming out soon. And then Volume 2 and 3 are out of print right now, but I have a feeling they're going to rate kind of highly on the reprint pool. I know people have been talking about those. We have War of the Realms Omnibus with the Dodderman cover and then the Arthur Adams cover. These are the big event that doesn't conclude the Jason Aaron Thor run, but all that builds up to this, and then there's a few issues after that. But the Jason Aaron Thor by Jason Aaron Omnibus Volume 2 was just announced recently. Volume 1 just came out and got a restock. And Volume 2 will include the main event of War of the Realms, but it won't include all the tie-ins. So you'll need this if you want the entirety of the event and all the tie-ins and whatnot. You get that for $62.50. Up next, the Return Omnibus. This is for $62.50. You get this. And then we have X-Men Fall of the Mutants, X-Men Inferno, X-Men Inferno Prologue, X-Men Mutant Massacre. Both covers for the Mutant Massacre. And then X-Men Volume 2 with the George Tusker cover. That's $56.19. So that's 55% off on that one. So a lot of X-Men if you need to fill in your mutant-related gaps in your collection. Have that. And then that is... Let me go back to my screen. That is the sale. Anyone in the chat, if you're going to pick up any of those omnibuses, let me know. Or if you are going to pick up anything for next week, let me know. But yeah, so we went about an hour here. I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate that. We're trying to really grow this channel. We have seen quite the growth in the last few weeks since we started. I hope to get to 100. Let's get to 100 subs by the end of next week, maybe. But I did put on the channel too an unboxing video that I did to show you the great packaging that CGN offers, and talked a little bit about the wish list option on their website. I'm going to do some more videos about the website and the cool features that they have on there. that can live on the channel as evergreen, not just in the live tab. So thanks for watching. We'll go live again next week, probably be during the daytime next week. We'll be back during the day. I think that'll be going forward what we do here. But yes, these books will go on sale starting next week on Monday night. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CheapGN. And I always make a post whenever the books are live. So be sure to follow us there too to make sure you know when the books go live and the minute you can order them. And we're going to end it on this. Sandwichism says, good stream. See you next time. See you. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. See you later from Coley. Really appreciate you guys joining with me. Love talking comics, and we'll see you next time.